I'm here hosting Get Up. What's up? That's it. We got to get there, though. Next time. We're going.
We're going?
Two of us. We're going this. We have an awesome show for you up ahead, and we begin with the game of the night. Vince Goodwill's here with me in studio. And in Detroit was this one. Season San Antonio is an NBA best, 9-2 against the top 6 teams in the NBA. How would they do against Detroit on the road? Here's a steal from Cade Cunningham early on. Pistons showing that they are in control. They would take an early lead on this one, go up by 6. 4.5 minutes left in the second quarter. Spurs are up 2. Watch this. Corner. 9-2 against the league's best 6 teams in the NBA, and they're undefeated against the Eastern Conference's Pistons, Celtics, and Knicks. And oh yeah, they're 4-1 against OKC. We bring in Monica McNutt. Monica, what did Wemby and the Spurs prove in last night's destruction of the Pistons in Detroit?
I don't know. Do they prove more that this team is a real in terms of being a contender? I think we all sort of knew that, and we're stepping into that. I thought the way that they were able to make the Detroit Pistons look so uncomfortable and frankly expose the thing that has been labeled as their weakness in terms of their inconsistent, subpar three-point shooting. The Pistons could not get Wemby away from the rim, and that is ultimately part of what their demise was, not to mention that the Spurs can throw multiple terrific on-ball and defenders at you in terms of the guards that they have to bother Cade Cunningham. I mean, I thought this was a really impressive display on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, and Vince, we look at it, the matchup, it just seemed like everything was in the Spurs' favor yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, look, when you can hold Cade Cunningham, one of the league's best scorers, to 5 of 26, and the Pistons don't have secondary scoring, you're going to shut down that offense. And I think when you looked at Detroit, like Monica said, secondary offense, not having shooting, but they were played into that by San Antonio's defense. You got to give them a lot of credit. There's not many teams that have the personnel that the Spurs have where you can funnel everything to Vic, and you can funnel everything because you have the guards that can defend up and down their position. They have 3 or 4 guys that are point guard size, but they can play up to playing small forward. So the way the team has been constructed has been wonderfully and masterfully made, even though this is very early in their development. They're 2 years ahead of schedule. That is freaky for me to consider.
I'm going to go back to you on this one because they got Harrison Barnes. We know he's got championship pedigree. And we know De'Aaron Fox has been to the playoffs and took Steph to 7 games. But Monica, does it feel too soon, or is it time to crown these guys and say, no, they can go into OKC and they could be the team out of the West this year?
Schrager, this makes me itch.
I know.
Okay, here's the thing. If I had to lay out a formula on how a team that necessarily doesn't have the experience historically was going to buck the trend, I would add Victor Wembanyama as my first piece, right? And so I think in the nature of a series, there's a couple of things that I'm watching down the stretch. Unfortunately, Victor Wembanyama has not had the best history when it comes to durability. This year has been much better. Hopefully that holds. And then in the nature of a series, in terms of the physicality, the adjustments that come, the shooting that sort of fluctuates as you get deeper into postseason runs, what does that look like? But to our point, if Victor's your centerpiece in terms of your potential defensive player of the year, and you've still got guys on the perimeter that are willing to defend, you got to really sit and think about the power of defense. As much as we love offense in the league, when you look at what OKC has been able to do, even what Boston did, defense still matters, particularly into the postseason. And this Spurs team, what they can do on that side of the ball is legit.
Yeah, I want you to take a look at this full screen here. That's TV talk for a graphic. Take a look at this. Spurs are in the midst of their annual rodeo road trip. There's always a rodeo in San Antonio every year, and when they do that, they got to leave for a month. Their last 5 games have been played away from home, and they are 5-0 in those games, and they win them by an average of 19 points per game. Their next 4 games are on the road. They got the Nets on Thursday. They got the Knicks on Sunday. They got the Sixers after that. So, Vince, when you see these numbers, I mean, this is all on the road they're doing this. That's real deal stuff.
Yeah, that's why I say it's freaky for me to consider, because the history of the NBA tells us you have to lose and lose big before you win. You have to lose at a heartbreaking level. This team hasn't even made the playoffs yet, Schrager. That's why it gives you pause. But the way that they play defense, when you look at the way that they are growing when they're on this rodeo trip, you're not just winning. You are blowing teams out. I cannot wait to see Big Vic at Madison Square Garden. The last time it was Christmas. He gave them 40.
Yes, he
they
did.
lost, right? Didn't matter. This is a new year. And the one thing that Monica said about the playoff rigors, this is the one thing about Victor. Victor's doing all of this in 29 minutes a game. In the playoffs, that number has to go to 35, 36. How will his body hold up with the added pressure, with the added physicality? Early on, he seemed to struggle when the Pistons put a body on him. I wonder if that has to be the formula, for that's the only way you can stop this guy. And when you talk about the playoffs, it's a totally different sport, Peter.
Yeah.
Players don't understand that until they get there.
The only thing we've seen, y'all, that we can liken to the playoffs at this point was the way things went down in Vegas for the Emirates
NBA Cup,
right?
Yep.
And I loved listening to the Spurs going into that matchup with the Knicks. They understood that they needed to absorb the energy and the pomp and circumstance and the big game nature. But, like, they're just untested, and obviously we know how the Emirates Cup played out. So I'm excited for this game coming up at the Garden as well. I'm with you, Vinny.
I don't know if it's too early to promote it. 1 o'clock on Sunday, Knicks, Wemby at the Garden. I'm going to be there too. I already got my tickets. I'll be going. I cannot wait for that one, and we're going to get back to you guys in just a little bit. We got to go back to the NFL, though. Our next stop is Philadelphia, where the Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni spoke to reporters and indicated that there was
a 5-game win streak against the Pistons. If and when they get to the playoffs, what concerns do you have surrounding that team?
I got two, Streisky and Scott, and good morning, guys. The first is going to be, if Kay Cunningham gets in foul trouble, it is bad news Bears. And last night, you saw him trying to navigate, holding on to that fifth foul pretty early into the basketball game. The second is what we have heard about this team in terms of their inability to shoot the basketball at a high level. 19% in the NBA in the year 2026 from the three-point line, deep into a postseason, even as much as legs get taken out over the course of a deep postseason run. Not being able to shoot the basketball is absolutely going to be problematic. And you saw in this game, the Pistons struggled with moving Victor Wembanyama with those 6 blocks away from the rim.
Knicks, meanwhile, are taking on the Cavs tonight. That's why our good friend, who never visits,
One of our best friends.
she would rather go.
Wow.
She would rather go to
Distance makes the
Cleveland
heart grow fonder.
than come to Bristol. But she's in Cleveland for this game. It's the Knicks. It's the Cavaliers. Monica, what is the significance of this one tonight?
I think it's a big deal. I think on the Knicks side, you want to see if this defense that rose over that 12-game winning streak, took a couple of hits, obviously with the Pistons loss, but got back with the Rockets win. You want to see if that defense is bona fide. And this is going to be a challenging opportunity when you look at what the Cleveland Cavaliers can do in the paint. That is both with the dribble penetration of Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, and of course, the ability to pass the ball to their bigs in Allen and Mobley. So on the other end, Cleveland's looking to get right and to prove that Harden and Mitchell can be a formidable force in this Eastern Conference. So I'm paying a lot of attention to what happens in the paint. Mitchell Robinson should be available for this game, and obviously that's a big swing when it comes to the Knicks' ability to rebound.
Regular season runway is starting to shorten. We are knocking on the door of playoffs.
Yeah.
Monica, enjoy Cleveland. I hear there are some pretty good casinos you can actually go pop into.
You can just walk into.
You know what I mean? Just walk on in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Monica.
Text me some of those.
I got you.
Look at her
Big signs. Just
like,
big signs.
sure.
They're everywhere. They're everywhere.
All right, this is new on SportsCenter. Mel